Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is 248th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Straight away you'll see that this isn't the usual flat, featureless map. This battle was fought on the Prippet marshes map. I like this map because you've got lots of woods, but also big open plains. So you can spring ambushes from the woods if you like, but if you want to, you can fight on the big open plains on this map. Okay, the team I'm in today consists of Brotherhood member Gladius, who's bought the Rome SPQR faction, and as you can see, the vast majority of his army are hidden in the woods, and only the general can be seen when you have units in the woods. So as I say, the rest of his army is hidden in the woods. Our next teammate is Brotherhood member Steve Longshanks, who's bought the Rome Scipio faction. Once again, the bulk of his army are hiding in the woods. Our third teammate is Brotherhood member Crypto. Now, Crypto's just come back from about a 5-year break from RTW. So it'll be interesting to see how well he does after having such a long break. He was always an aggressive player, so it'll be interesting to see how well he does. And the fourth teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who has unusually bought the Macedon faction. This Macedon army I built specially to be a counter to Germania. And if you remember the last battle video we watched, you saw that I bought the Greek cities as a counter to Germania. Well, in this battle I've bought Macedon. So there's our team there. Should be an interesting one for you to watch. At this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at this custom built army that I made some years ago to counter Germania. As you can see there, I've got 11 infantry units, and I've got 4 Cretan archers there. As you can see there, 11. As I say, this is an army that I did build specifically to counter Germania. If you notice, the upgrades on the pikemen are 7 upgrades. So that's an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. And just look at the length of those pikes. Now, if any of the Germania faction attack my pikes head on, which is what I'd like them to do, they will be killed quite quickly, including berserkers. As I say, I've got 4 Cretan archers. Now, these guys have got long range and can do a lot of damage, so it's always good to bring archers when you bring pike factions to shield your pike units from missile damage. And then I've got the companion cavalry, or the winged horsemen. As you can see, they kind of got wings on their helmets. This cavalry is extremely good, and with good upgrades they can be a very elite cavalry. So there's my Macedon army. Should be interesting to see how this old army does. And here is the other team. We have RTW player Biohazard, who has bought the Greek cities faction. Now, if you notice there, he's got 20 Spartan units. But if we look a little bit closer, we'll see that each unit has only got 3 upgrades on. So whether that's 3 attack or 3 defense, I'm not sure. Probably 3 attack, possibly, but I'm not sure. So it's not a lot of upgrades on these Spartans. Yes, they've got excellent specifications, but they do, I feel, need gold shield, gold attack at least. But he's got 20 units of them. And then we have Chimera Bob, who has bought the Britannia faction. Remember, Chimera are I think are the newest clan on RTW. Let's have a close look at these head hurlers. Now, these head hurlers, those heads are effective against armor, plus they have a fear factor. They lower the morale of enemy troops. Originally, the real Britons used to dip the heads in lime, so when they threw the heads, even if it just touched the skin of the enemy, it would cause terrible burns. As you can see there, close up, you can see they carry heads on their belts. And as I say, they are effective against armor, and they do carry a fear factor, and can help make enemy armies rout because of that fear factor. And as I say, the casualties they cause because they are effective against armor. I see that Bob has bought some war dogs, warhounds. You don't often see these on the modern 31k battlefield, so it'll be interesting to see how well they do. I say it's an interesting Britannia army, and then he's got 2 chariot archers by the looks of them. And we already can see the one, if you like, driver of the chariots, and the one archer on that chariot there. Very effective, especially when they go into Canterbury Circle. Very difficult to kill with foot archers, and they can do a lot of damage. And then he's gone for the Barbarian Warlord Chariots. Now you've got two lots of chariots. You've got the Heavy Chariots or the Barbarian Warlord Chariots. The Barbarian Warlord Chariots have got 5 hit points, if I remember correctly. And also, they don't run amok. And pound for pound, I think these are probably the best chariots in the game. And as I say, with the advantage of not running amok as well, that makes them even better, I think. Their third teammate is R2W player, I think it's Erog, who has bought the Germania faction. As see, most of his units are hiding in the woods. And their third teammate is Brotherhood member Cal, who has bought the Rome Brutii faction there. So there's the enemy team. Interesting armies. This should be a great one for you to watch. At this stage of the battle, you can see that Chimera Bob has brought his chariot archers over to our left flank there, forming a Canterbury circle. If you notice that Crypto has put his 2 units on that left flank into Testudo there. As we've seen in Testudo before, it's a very good defensive formation for units, and will stop those archers doing much damage to that units from the flank. Let's just pause the game for a second. Right, just like to show you this particular tactic. Now, can you see that the Greek cities army is in front of the head hurlers? Now, what that Greek cities general and the British general would like is for us to be pinned against those Greek city pikemen. And as we're fighting and pinned against them, those head hurlers would be throwing hundreds of heads in, literally destroying Roman units. As I say, with the effective against armour heads plus the fear factor. So that's what the enemy would like. They would like us to attack, get pinned on those Greek city pikes while we're being pelted by those head hurlers there. You can see he's got his heavy chariots, those barbarian warlord chariots, moving over to our left, supporting his archer chariots there. Should be interesting to see what actually happens on this left flank. Okay, at this very early stage of the battle here, you can see that Chimera Bob has brought his chariot archers even more round to the rear on this left flank there. And if you notice that Gladius has brought his archers over, and can you notice that he's shooting fire arrows onto the chariots. Now we know that fire arrows don't cause so many casualties, but they do bring a fear factor. And I think what we're gambling there is that the morale of these British charioteers are not that great, as most barbarians' morale is not very good. And I think Gladius is thinking there, if he shoots them up with fire arrows, he might actually cause casualties and get them to rout there. See a lot of fire arrows going into those chariots there. As I say, in Canterbury Circle, they are difficult to kill there. As you can see here, that's a general overview of our team's armies there. If you notice on my Macedon armies at the back, they're ready to counter the Germania threat when it arrives. Germania, I think, are quite a long way away. Yeah, there you go. They're all the way over there. They haven't even reached their allies' battle line yet. But my Macedon army is stood ready to engage them when they do get over here. As I say, I've got my 4 Cretan archers there that will help to neutralise any enemy archers that try and target my pikemen. Just pause the game for a second to show you what the Greek cities general is doing here. Right, can you see that the Greek cities general, remember he bought 20 Spartan units. Can you see how he's stretching them out in one continuous line in front of his his Britannia head hurlers units there? And like I say, what they would like to do with that continuous line of Spartans there is to engage our Roman troops, and then those head hurlers, protected by their Spartan allies, could just stand behind, throwing hundreds of effective against armour, morale lowering heads into our armies. So that's something that we will try and avoid. Should be good to see what happens next. So at this stage of the battle, you can see from this angle the one continuous line of Spartan units there, all the way down in front of all our team's armies there. As I say, that Spartan line would be a protector, if you like, for the Britain head hurlers. As I say, they would like to pin us on the front of those Spartan units there, and so that those head hurlers could just stand completely protected behind the Spartans and just throw loads and loads of those effective against armour heads onto our units there. So we don't really want to get caught there if we can help it. You see Steve Longshanks has moved his Scipio army forward. I think the reason he did that was to get into good piler range there and to try and do a lot of damage to those Spartan units with pilers there. Let's just pause the game for a second. So as you can see there, can you see the heads flying through the air there? I'm trying to get to see if I can just get one there. You can see the heads there that these head herders are throwing. And as I say, they do a lot of damage against Roman troops because, as I say, they're effective against armour, and of course they got the fear factor. So as you can see there, a nice tactical positioning there by the Britannia general behind those Spartans. As you can see, Cal's green Brutii army over there on our right flank there, also behind a few of those Spartan units. But you can see the Germania army, and the main units that I'm watching for are those berserkers. Can you see there's 3 units of berserkers moving over to our left there, which I'll try and shadow. Right, can you see the damage done to these Scipii units here? Now, bearing in mind, I don't think they faced many pilers. The majority of that damage was done by head herders. Some units down to 26, 53, and I saw one there for 19. So the main damage would have been done by those head herders there. As I say, if you can see my Macedon army, I'm moving it over there, trying to shadow that Germania army. As I say, the main units I'm looking to try and stop are those berserker units. So I will be shadowing them. There's an overview of the battle as it stands at this stage. See, the Germania army, including the berserkers, are moving forward onto Gladius's Roman troops. So I've spotted that. So I'm going to move my pikemen forward there to counter that Germania attack. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if the Germania general, seeing my pikes come towards him, would possibly back off at this stage. He doesn't want any truck with pike units, if you see what I mean. A lot of veterans watching this will know that, but maybe newer players might not. If you're in charge of Germania, if you see pikes in front of you, best thing to do is to pull back and look for another target, preferably a Roman ally. And if you notice there, the Germania general is pulling his troops back when he saw me move forward with my Macedon pikemen. All the time I'm targeting that Germania faction with my archers, my long range Cretan archers there. Pause the game for a second. So as I say, the Germania army pulled back there the moment they saw my pikes move forward. I think they were all ready to attack Gladius's Roman SBQR army there, but with the pikes coming forward, they tried to retreat. You can see other German units here moving around to our right flank. I think there's some spear units and some cavalry units, and Cal is on that right flank as well. And the angle that he's looking at, he looks like he might try and flank us as well. Let's say you've got a lot of Spartan units spread out from one side of the battlefield to the other. As I say, he did bring 20 Spartan units, but with only 3 upgrades on each, it'll be interesting to see how well they do. Yes, they have got fantastic specifications, but it'll be interesting to see with only 3 upgrades. As you can see, the chariots have moved out to our left flank as well. So my guess is that these Spartans are going to try and flank us here. Probably come around the flank there, but my guess is that our ally will see that and probably put some units over there to block that. As I said, you can see the Spartans moving slowly round there, and as I say, with a view to probably flank us if they can. As you can see, there's a small German force moving in from our right flank there. I think it's German spear units there. But as I say, I'm kind of just shadowing the main Germania army, especially those berserker units. And the Germania general will be looking at the battlefield at the moment and looking to the best place to take his chosen axemen. Remember, they're effective against armour, and the berserker units to make the most use of them. So that's what I'm going to be watching for. As I say, moving my Macedon army to counter those. If you notice over on our left flank, you remember what I said about the Spartans trying to do a left flanking action there, but our ally has spotted that, Crypto, and moved some of his Scipio units out to counter that Spartan left flanking action there. I notice we've got a lot of cavalry over here on our left flank. So it'll be interesting to see if we can make good use of our cavalry here. If we could get in behind those engaged Spartan units with our cavalry, that would give us a big advantage. Right, just pause again for a second. Let's say here you can see that those head herders perfectly protected behind their Greek city allies, still throwing effective against armor heads in on our allies' infantry there. As you can see, I don't think there's been any pilot damage to units at this end. This is all head herder damage there, where you can saw some of those units really depleted by the casualties they suffered by head herders. As you can see, the Spartan, as I said, the Spartans were trying to do a flanking action there, but well done to Crypto to counter that with his Scipii infantry units there. But as if you notice, we have got, as I said, a lot of cavalry out on this flank. So maybe if we could take advantage of this cavalry advantage we've got, we might be able to get in behind those Spartans there. Right, can you see I'm moving my whole Macedon pike army over here now, countering the berserkers, countering those Germania units that are moving over here, looking to hit my Roman allies. Okay, can you see that the Germania general has split his berserkers? He's sending one unit over to the right and keeping two units over to the left here. Now this is always a bit of a dilemma if you only got one pike army. Do you remember the last battle video we saw? I had Greek cities faction and I had two separate armies, and they would have been good to use in these circumstances. Right, over here on the left, can you see that the Britannia barbarian warlord chariots are charging in to our allies' cavalry? But there was only 4 units of those barbarian warlord chariots, and I think we must have maybe 12 cavalry units there charging in to counter them. So if we can win on this left flank against these chariots, then we can go, like I said earlier, into the rear of those engaged Spartan units there. If you notice there, we've kind of routed, I think, most of the Britannia chariots there. Let's just pause again for a second. So now we've routed those Britannia chariots. Our cavalry are now available to go into the rear of those, as I say, into the rear of those engaged enemy troops. You notice the Germania general's bringing some of his army over there, including the berserker units there, moving them over here to this flank, maybe to counter our cavalry. So that would be a covering move there by the Germania general to try and stop the cavalry going into the back of his allies' engaged Spartans there. Say Crypto's doing very good to engage those Spartans. If you notice, I've moved my Macedon army forward there to engage the troops and hopefully get the berserkers to charge in if they will. But if not, then I'll just pull my pikemen back to carry on shadowing. Can you see there is a berserker unit that has been activated there? But if you notice, there's only 12 men in that unit, because probably he's one of the units I was targeting with my archers to weaken it. So there's a general overview. You can see I've got my my cavalry poised at the back there, ready to charge. Let's say there's a general overview as the battle as it stands at the moment. Let's say we've won the cavalry battle on our left flank against those chariots, and you see the Germania general has spotted that and brought his effective against armor axemen over, and he's also activated a berserker unit. I can see the red banner going of that berserker unit, and what I'd like that berserker unit to do, you know, it's kind of gone berserk, it's charging to my pikes, which is what he's doing. Can you see that berserker unit that's been activated is now charging into my thick pike formation, which is just what I wanted him to do there. And those pikes will kill that berserker unit quite quickly there. If you notice, our allies have taken cavalry out round the back of that Germania formation here, and then meanwhile over on our right here, you see Cal charging his cavalry and his Bruto cavalry, and bang as that cavalry hits, routing a lot of our blue Scipii allies there. You notice I'm bringing my Macedon companion cavalry in there to try and counter that enemy Brutii cavalry charge there. And if you notice, the Germania general's charged his cavalry units in as well, and it's a real tussle here on our right flank. I can see a lot of our allies units starting to rout here. If you notice, Cal's pulling his cavalry back. He'll rally them, reorganise, and then charge back in, looking to get the full cavalry charge bonus. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second. As you can see here, it's as a real tussle here on our right flank between the enemy Brutii, enemy Germany, and our allies SBQR and Scipii units there, and my Macedon cavalry. If you notice, I've turned some of my Macedon units now to attack over on this right flank, aggressively attacking the enemy units in front of me. As you can see there, trying to push through these enemy units here to get over to that right flank to help my allies out. And meanwhile, over on our left here, we have routed most of the enemy team there. Most of the Greek cities units have been routed there, and I think the Germania army that was there has also been routed at this time. So there's a general overview of the battle at the moment there. There's Cal charging his Brutii cavalry in again, looking to rout. I think there you are. I think that Steve's general's just been routed there, so the morale of his troops will drop. My Macedon companion cavalry is still trying to hold there, trying to counter the enemy attack. Our allies are sending units in now. If you notice, I'm sending one of my Macedon pike units in, or a couple of my units in there as well. I think Cal's done extremely well over on this right flank with his green Brutii army, but looking at the forces ranging against him now, I just wonder how long he'd be able to hold there. If you notice, he's charging his cavalry in again, and bang as that cavalry hits. I think he went for Crypto's general there, and that green cavalry was a massive hit. They routed a lot of our allies' units. I can see one of my Macedon units is just routed as well there. Let's say Cal's Brutii army is doing extremely well here on the right, but looking at the forces, as I said, ranging against him here, I don't think he's going to be able to hold much longer. If you notice, I'm sending my Cretan archers in. I've alt-attacked them now, so they've got their small daggers or small swords. I'm sending in also to attack, help attack Cal's infantry that he's got left there. There's a few Germania units left, I think, but they're extremely battle damaged, so my guess is their morale will be very low, and I shouldn't think they'll last that long at this stage of the battle.
The enemy army is in flight. Pursue them. Drive them from the battlefield.
And it looks like our team has managed to go on and win this battle here. As I thought, this was a bit of an alternative army to bring you as an anti-Germania one. As I say, in the last battle video you saw, I bought Greek cities, split them into two armies, but also I bought this Macedon army as a Germania counter as well. So just thought bit of variety there to show you what you could do if you want to counter Germania. As you can see, the fighting was extremely intense on this right flank. Okay, the first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game there. I'd say it was an average victory there, but I thought it might have been a bit closer than that, because I thought the enemy team played quite well there. Just like to say really well done to Cal, Alirog, Chimera Bob and Biohazard. Some nice tactical moves there, some nice attacking moves there, really well done to you. And well done to Crypto after a 5-year break. Nice to see you back on the dusty old fields of RTW. And well done Steve Longshanks, and well done Gladius. I thought you guys played really well in that battle there. Just like to draw your attention to Crypto's kills. As I say, he's just come back to RTW after a 5-year break. And as you see, he got 1,781 kills. So really well done to Crypto. He was always, even when he played a lot all those years ago. He was always an aggressive attacking player, and of course RTW rewards aggression and attacking with better kills, with good kills, you see. So really well done to Crypto. So this is Spartan Commander saying, hope you enjoyed this battle, look forward to seeing you soon, and bye for now.